Eddie Hearn says that Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev is now a done deal. It's final for June. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel when you guys utilize that link. You can also get ESPN Plus, Hulu, Disney Plus, all three apps for one price of $12.99 just by clicking that link. It does support the channel, help the channel grow, help me cover more events, and just do more things. I have a lot of visions and ideas for the channel, so that's one way to support. Another way to support is to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. Now, looky. Eddie Hearn says that Joshua and Kubrat Pulev, Bob Arum, the promoter of Pulev, one of his promoters, I think he has two, like a co-promotion, but he's with Bob Arum as well, Top Rank, and Joshua is with Eddie Hearn in Rematch Room. According to Eddie Hearn, who's doing promo work for Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas, and speaking of the fight, I feel like it hasn't really been promoted heavily. You know, considering that Eddie Hearn sought out Mikey Garcia for like 2 years, and Mikey's rumored to get $7 to $10 million for a fight, and it was supposed to be a big, huge Texas fight. I haven't heard much about it. I haven't seen much promotion. I haven't seen, you know, any real highlights that got people talking from press conferences or quotables, or heard about ticket sales, anything. So, regardless of that, Eddie Hearn, he spoke out, and he says that a deal has been reached between Kubrat Pulev and Anthony Joshua. June 20th, likely at Tottenham in the UK, but, you know, I don't think the location has been announced. They haven't done a press conference. Now, these guys were supposed to fight probably about 2 years ago, and Kubrat Pulev, about 2 weeks before the actual fight was to commence, he pulled out, you know, and got the name Kubrat Pullout. And he left Joshua and Hearn without a dance partner for that date, and then they had, I guess they had told Carlos Takam, you're on reserve, you're the understudy. If this falls through for any reason, then you're up. So Joshua ended up fighting Carlos Takam. I don't think he looked that great in that fight, and I thought it was a mercy stoppage. I think Takam possibly could have went 12 with Joshua. He wasn't winning the fight, but, you know, he could have at least been the first person to go the distance with Joshua, you know. And that later became Joseph Parker. But I think Takam could have done it because it didn't look like he was so badly hurt. It looked like he was hurt earlier in the fight more than when they stopped it. You know, I got to watch it again, but that's my assessment. So Joshua pull out Pulev. It's okay. You know, I'm not really excited for it. And it's a mandatory, you know, conveniently another Eddie Hearn fighter like Triple G and Camille Sesmeta, you know, that it just always seems to be a mandatory. When Wilder was pressing Joshua, when they were both undefeated and they got real close, Wilder and Shelly Finkel publicly told ESPN they're willing to fight in the UK and accept terms. They just had 2 brief questions. Suddenly, Joshua had a mandatory. He had a fight, and that was Alexander Povetkin, another fight people weren't really checking for, and that took precedence. So it is what it is. AJ versus Pulev, out of all the heavyweight fights, that's probably the least, you know, out of the big name heavyweight fights, that's the least. I would rather see Wilder Fury 3. I think that's going to be a better build up. The first and second fight were good, so I see the third having more for people to talk about. Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois, that's an amazing fight, stuff like that. So, you know, people on DAZN seem to be not connecting with the American audiences and their biggest stars. It doesn't look like their events are really ringing bells, you know. It is what it is. That's who Joshua is going to fight. The other thing I find ironic with this is that Eddie Hearn utilized Tyson Fury's victory over Wilder It was the talk of the town. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody was talking about it. The costume, and Eddie Hearn doing all these videos talking about it and mentioning Tyson Fury. Oh, Joshua just hit me up and he wants to fight Tyson Fury next in the unification, and Wilder will step aside. And, you know, Eddie Hearn sold the public all these dreams per usual. And now he's going to fight Pulev. Like I told you. New media, man, we just keep getting it right. I told you there's no sense in getting excited and clamoring for Undisputed, because just like when Joshua lost badly to Andy Ruiz and he triggered the rematch clause, it looks like Deontay Wilder, after a bad loss to Tyson Fury, which I actually think Wilder's loss looks better than Joshua, because Joshua lost to a guy who was shorter than him, smaller than him, and only had 5-6 weeks to train. Wilder lost to someone who outweighed him 40 to 60 pounds and is bigger than him, and the two know each other from the first fight, and he's a crafty boxer with longer reach and all that. So Joshua's loss was more embarrassing to me. There's no real shame. Everyone has Fury listed at the number one spot. He's the number one heavyweight. So losing to that, it's criminal almost how much people are writing off Deontay Wilder, like Fury doesn't stand a chance to beat all the top guys, you know, based on his style and versatility with his style. But again, Eddie Hearn used it for publicity, tried to build a bunch of fights, and we knew it wasn't going to happen. We knew the Undisputed wasn't happening for the same reason that Joshua, when he lost to Ruiz, he wanted some get back. Wilder wants some get back. Rematch clauses, contractual things. Bob Arum has been on record and publicly said, we have a contract with Wilder. We are going to honor that contract if Wilder so chooses to trigger the rematch clause. So we're not going to run and rush and go fight someone else. ESPN Top Rank, they said the viewership was 1.2 to 1.3 million when you add digital buys. This is a storyline people are the sequels keep doing better and better. That's a far cry, 1.2, 1.3 million from the first fight that did 325,000 or whatever it was. And now with the costume gate, and you know, people are making videos about Tyson Fury's gloves and all this stuff. It's just so much commotion and chatter. How the fight played out, Wilder losing every round, stuff like that, Wilder being a knockout artist. The third fight, I think, will do the best, you know, in terms of commercial success, because it's a storyline people can follow. So once again, new media was accurate. Joshua is going to fight Kubrat Pulev. You know, all this talk about Wilder stepping aside and Eddie Hearn doing interviews for 10 minutes of fame to say, you know, to make a headline saying Wilder, given the right money, he'll step aside. None of that looks like it's coming into fruition. This doesn't help DAZN. And, you know, it's sad to see all this clout chasing. Same thing with Dillian White. Dillian White talked about Wilder, and he's not fighting him. He's talked about fighting Tyson Fury. He talked about Andy Ruiz. And guess what? He's likely to fight Alexander Povetkin. So not the guy that he's talked about the most, or the guys he's talked about the most. It seems to be a reoccurring theme with Rematch Room and DAZN to keep talking about certain fights, and they're not happening. Point blank, period. So, Joshua Pulev. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.